Africa. Martina was heading to Kenya with friends, but could not get a seat near them on the plane. Seated separately, she noticed Leslie, the man in front of her. Love must have been in the air. Now Martina and Leslie Johnson are married and tell the Daily Mail they traveled together. I'm Vanessa Tyler with Mike Stevens on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
I'm Dion with Scott, and this is Practical Parenting. All families have traditions. Traditions are rituals family engage in over and over. They lend a certain spirit that nurtures a family's connection, giving us a sense of belonging. Why do we keep them? According to Reggie Joyner of Family Wise, making traditions with our families strengthen our bonds and reminds us that we are part of something bigger.
Look for ways that you can make traditions with your family, from making breakfast in bed on birthdays to watching your favorite movie every Thanksgiving. Allowing your kids to be part of the process engages them, giving them a sense of security and a way to voice what is important to them.
So ask your family what makes traditions special to them and how they'd like to celebrate. Then explore the possibilities. This is Dion with Scott on the Black Information Network.
Your story is our story.
The Black Information Network.
The Bay Area, BIN 910.
I'm Natasha Williams on your home for 24/7 News on San Francisco's BIN 910. More drug dealing arrests are being made in San Francisco than ever, but African-American Police Chief Bill Scott says they're getting help from the California Highway Patrol and the DEA.
We are nearly where we were all of last year, and we're just at the beginning of August with drug sales arrests. And in terms of we're arresting people who are using in public, we barely did that at all last year.
The police department called in federal agencies to help in May because they were understaffed. A town hall was held this week in the Tenderloin district to discuss the fentanyl and crime crisis. San Francisco's African-American District Attorney Brooke Jenkins told attendees that her office has been working hard to get drug peddlers off the streets, but they're often released hours after they're arrested. Some Marin County children are fighting recent racist messages in their neighborhoods with their own messages of love. 3 young girls have been spending their time making messages of love and taking them around to portions of Corte Madera and Larkspur. Their efforts come after racist and anti-Semitic flyers were dropped off at residences during the overnight hours. The girls tell ABC7 that they were upset and sad after hearing about the nasty flyers and wanted to spread their own messages of positivity. And some Bay Area residents are getting the word out about immigration reform. Hundreds of people marched from North Bay and South Bay to San Francisco over the weekend to spread the message of wanting Congress to act on the topic of immigration reform. Marchers say they want lawmakers to take action on a plan for permanent residency for millions of immigrants around the nation. One march went from Petaluma to San Francisco, while the South Bay March started in San Jose. Advocates say there will be more demonstrations about the topic later this summer. And 5 men are facing decades behind bars for their role in a jewelry heist in San Ramon. Federal prosecutors this week charged the 5 men with robbery. Prosecutors say at least 11 people were involved in the armed heist of Heller Jewelers back in March, where the thieves were able to get away with over $1 million in jewelry and watches. Authorities are still looking to make more arrests. The 5 that were officially charged face 20 years in prison if convicted. And Elon Musk appears to be leaning into plans for a cage fight with Mark Zuckerberg and to stream it live. Musk wrote on X, formerly Twitter, that the battle of the billionaires' cage fight will be live streamed on X. He wrote, Zuck versus Musk fight will be live streamed on X. All proceeds will go to charity for veterans. The owner of X, Tesla, and SpaceX, and the Meta CEO agreed in June to settle their differences in a cage fight after Musk sounded off about Meta's plan to launch Threads, its version of a Twitter-like social media platform. And that's a look at what's going on around the Bay Area. You can follow us on X, formerly Twitter, at BlackInfoNet. I'm Natasha Williams on your home for 24/7 News, San Francisco's BIN 910.
These days, it's more important than ever to make your health and well-being a priority. And Minute Clinic at CVS is here to help you keep your health on track with easy access to preventative health screenings. Some health issues impact certain segments of the community. For example, Black women are nearly 1.5 times more likely to suffer a stroke than white women. At Minute Clinic at CVS, board-certified healthcare providers are here to help support Black women's heart health with preventative care, education, and other services beyond regular sick visits. Minute Clinic also offers preventative health screenings to help assess you and your loved ones' risk of heart disease and other chronic illnesses. Blood pressure, cholesterol levels, blood glucose, and more are available, with results in just minutes. From hypertension management and high cholesterol monitoring to maintaining your health with annual flu vaccinations and beyond, Minute Clinic is available 7 days a week, virtually. For convenient access to the care you need to stay on top of your health, visit MinuteClinic.com. CVS is a proud founding partner of the Black Information Network.
The power of information.
Black news here and now. All the black news you need. An oversight board appointed by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is eliminating diversity programs on Walt Disney World's property.
In 30 minutes.
With a large following on Instagram, the Black Union Shop is set to officially launch.
Available 24/7. They lost their lives on that day. But today is a day to remember those individuals.
Information Network.
The Bay Area's BIN 910 and on the iHeartRadio app.
Isabel Stanford's role as Louise Weezy Jefferson made her a household name, and on September 13th, 1981, she made history. She became the first black woman to win the Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series, and just the second black woman to win an Emmy of any kind.
Yes. Waited so long, all my humility is just gone.
Isabel Stanford was born Eloise Gwendolyn Stanford on August 29th, 1917 in Harlem, New York. She worked as a stage actress out of high school, relocating to California with her 3 children after a divorce. Isabel Stanford made her Broadway debut in 1965 in James Baldwin's The Amen Corner, which later led to Norman Lear casting her in All in the Family. The Jeffersons was a spin-off show that debuted in 1975, starring alongside Sherman Hemsley as George Jefferson in the role. Isabel Stanford was nominated 5 times for the Golden Globe Award and 7 times for the Emmy. Sadly, Isabel Stanford passed in 2004. I'm Weston Show for the Black Information Network.
Got a story that affects our community? Call the Black Information Network hotline at 855-500-9BIN. The opinions, beliefs, and viewpoints expressed in this commentary are those of the author and do not necessarily represent those of BIN and its founding partners and employees.
I'm Mo Kelly on BIN with your 2-minute warning. A 3-judge panel of the 5th Circuit Court of Appeals has struck down Mississippi's lifetime ban on voting for people convicted of certain felonies, saying it is unconstitutional because it inflicts cruel and unusual punishment. There's a lot of history and irony in that statement. First, the history. The state didn't officially ratify the 13th Amendment, which ended slavery, until 2013. It wasn't until 2020 that the Confederate flag was removed from the official state flag. So it should surprise absolutely nobody that Mississippi, a state which is 38% black, would have a law which serves a lifetime voting ban if convicted of certain felonies. This isn't a coincidence, but a continuation. It isn't also a coincidence that the 5th Circuit Court of Appeals wasn't unanimous in this decision. A different judge on a different day, and you have a 2-1 result in the other direction. Federal judges are lifetime appointments, first nominated by the president, then confirmed by the Senate. The dissenting voice here was the Honorable Edith Jones, who was nominated by President Reagan, a guy who's been out of office for 35 years and dead for 19. Now, here's some irony. This is the same 5th Circuit which just had its first black woman to serve there ever last year, nominated by President Biden. There's another reason why presidential elections are less about the two people running and more about what types of judicial legacies either will leave. Black people who were born after Reagan's death have had their voting rights stripped for life in Mississippi, even in 2023. So be clear, think of Mississippi when you vote for president, and by extension, the future generations you will impact. I'm Mo Kelly, at Mr. Mo Kelly on social media, and that's your 2-minute warning on the Black Information Network.
Because truth matters.
The Black Information Network.
The Bay Area CIN 910.
I'm Doug Davis, and here is what's trending. According to a new study, an obesity drug called Wegovy could cut the risk of cardiovascular emergencies, heart attack, and stroke by 20%. That's what's trending from the Black Information Network.
Support on the Black Information Network.
In the NFL, the Detroit Lions are adding another quarterback to their roster. ESPN reports Detroit is signing free agent Teddy Bridgewater, and the deal will be finalized later this week. Bridgewater spent the last season as the Miami Dolphins' backup QB and played in 5 games. The 30-year-old passed for 683 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions in his lone season with Miami. The QB reunites with Dan Campbell, who was an assistant coach with the Saints when Bridgewater was with New Orleans. Speaking of the Saints, they could be adding some insurance to their running back room. ESPN reports free agent running back Kareem Hunt visited New Orleans. The Saints will be without starter Alvin Kamara for the first 3 games of the season after he was suspended for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy. New Orleans also took a death hit after running back Eno Benjamin suffered a ruptured Achilles. Hunt rushed for 468 yards and 3 touchdowns last season with the Cleveland Browns. And in a significant more than announced that defensive line coach Terrell Williams will be the team against the Chicago Bears Saturday. It's a great opportunity for Williams and everyone involved. Williams joined Tennessee in 2018 and has 12 years of NFL coaching experience. Sports at 14 and 44 minutes past the hour. I'm Morgan Wood on the Black Information Network.
Bank of America Corporation is proud to be a founding partner who shares and supports the mission of the Black Information Network.
Catch the latest Roland Martin Unfiltered podcast. Here's what you missed.
We're going to places where they voted for Trump and then vote for Biden and say, this is how we made your life better.
It's real. It's raw. Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Fact you're carrying massive for conviction shows you have ulterior motives. And those ulterior motives are keeping a black man behind bars.
Download the Roland Martin Unfiltered podcast on the iHeartRadio app and catch Roland Martin's daily commentary on the Black Information Network. Looking for ways to make a difference? Fair Fight promotes fair elections around the country by encouraging voter participation, providing election education, and voter suppression outreach. To learn more, log on to fairfight.com. That's fairfight.com.
Because news can happen anywhere, anytime. The Black Information Network hotline is available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 855-500-9BIN.
Entertainment news on the Black Information Network. Congratulations are in order for singer Sierra and husband NFL champion Russell Wilson. The couple have revealed via Instagram that they are expecting another child together. This will be the couple's 3rd child together and 4th overall. They made the sweet announcement with a black and white video shoot of Sierra's silhouette dancing in front of an indoor pool with her baby bump proudly on display. These dancing for a newly released single features Chris Brown called How We Roll. It is the first single from her forthcoming EP. And Will Smith was the latest guest on actor and comedian Kevin Hart's talk show for Peacock called Heart to Heart. They talked about a variety of topics, including Smith's experience playing the role of a slave in his 2022 film Emancipation. Will said he thinks he took it just a little too far in wanting to feel the degradation of slavery. He said in part, quote, just bringing it up, I start to get teary. The level of human brutality, what people do to each other, end quote. He added he wanted to feel the weight of real chains on his neck, and as the crew was spinning it for size, the prop master he didn't work. He says it was then that he snapped back into reality real quick. And Brady Simone recently opened up about having plastic surgery before the age of 18 on her podcast, The Best Podcast Ever. She revealed while working on her hit show That's So Raven, she was encouraged to get surgery by her father. She
said people commenting on her size led to her having 2 breast reductions and liposuction. She noted even after the surgeries, it didn't stop people's commentary, and having surgery that young was just a mess. With the latest in entertainment at 17 and 47 minutes past each hour, I'm Bree Wood on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
This is a BIN report. Did you know that less than 3% of black women hold a bachelor's degree in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, also known as STEM? A 2019 Indiana University study shows that for black women looking for any STEM degrees, representation matters. NASA's headquarters were recently renamed after Mary W. Jackson, the first African-American female engineer in NASA in 1958. 62 years later, we are still looking for more females with careers in STEM to highlight as role models. Women like Aisha Bo, a former NASA employee herself. Bo has created Lingo, a hands-on experience for kids to learn the fundamentals of hardware and software design. Due to women like Jackson and Bo, young girls now have role models to look up to in STEM and will be more inclined to embark on STEM careers of their own. This is Keon Williams on the Black Information Network. Trusted Black News.
The Black Information Network.
The Bay Area's BIN 910. I'm Doug Davis.
And I'm Esther Dillard on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Here are your top stories coming up. The latest on the Alabama brawl, where a black co-captain was attacked by a group of whites. Black-on-black crime continues across the nation. A 13-year-old boy was shot and killed in New Orleans, Louisiana on Sunday. It's the 21st juvenile to be shot to death there so far this year. And
you know, these Republican officials just couldn't bear the thought of providing relief for working-class, middle-class Americans.
two conservative-leaning groups are suing the Biden administration over its latest plan to cut student loan debt. The groups argue the White House doesn't have the authority to forgive the $39 billion it's promising. The lawsuit says after the Supreme Court struck down its first try to cancel $400 billion, Biden is now trying to push this new plan using new arguments. The Supreme Court earlier ruled Congress must approve any student loan forgiveness.
That banned so-called ghost guns. The court blocked a ruling from a Texas district judge, which would have allowed anyone to build their own guns at home. At issue is a change that the ATF made last year, expanding what constitutes a firearm. That is updating old definitions to ensure that gun laws apply to all firearms, including ghost guns. That's U.S. Assistant Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco. The DIY kits lack serial number, making them hard to track. The ruling from the High Court means the rule will remain in effect until the lawsuit is finished.
Credit card balances in the U.S. have hit $1 trillion for the first time ever. The New York Federal Reserve reports total credit card debt jumped by $45 billion from April through June. Fed researchers said inflation and higher levels of consumption contributed to the rise in balances for African Americans as well as for other groups. Glenn Williams of Primerica says,
We really are seeing the stress of middle-income families as they continue to deal with the compounding effects of inflation.
The Fed also reported a jump of over 7% in credit card delinquency rates. Meanwhile, total household debt also grew to a record of over $17 billion.
More Americans are dipping into their 401k accounts because of financial distress. That's according to Bank of America data. The number of those who did so during the second quarter spiked from the same time last year by 36%. Most cite inflation as the main reason. Bank of America's data also shows overall employee contributions remained consistent over the first half of the year. Bank of America is a proud founding partner of the Black Information Network.
For more on these stories and international, national, state, and local news affecting the Black community, listen to the Black Information Network on the iHeartRadio app or log on to BINnews.com. I'm Doug Davis along with Esther Dillard on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
If 100,000 BIN listeners were able to advance their careers or succeed in a new one, it would be one step towards building a better future for all of us. To learn more about the 100,000 Careers Initiative, visit careerbuilder.com/BIN.
Looking for ways to support your community? 51% of all food programs in the Feeding America Network are volunteer run. Learn more about how you can play an important
Network.
The Bay Area's BIN 910.
Your money on the Black Information Network.
The cost of back-to-school supplies is even more than Americans expected due to inflation. This Florida parent says she has to be more careful with her spending.
We're going to recycle what we already have at home and whatever we're missing, that's what we're going to get this year.
The National Retail Federation says families are expected to spend $25 more this year than last. Overall, Americans will spend a record $42 billion compared to last year's $37 billion. Experts say inflation will cause families across all income levels to prioritize school necessities. This Florida mom says the prices have nearly quadrupled for some school supplies.
No, what's that? They used to be like 25 cents, and now they're like $1.50.
And one of the largest ever lottery paydays is up for grabs with the next Mega Millions drawing. The jackpot is now estimated to be just over $1.5 billion, making it the largest payout in the game's history. Wouldn't you like to win that? Money news at 24 and 54 past each hour. I'm Natasha Williams on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Trusted News 24/7.
The Black Information Network.
The Bay Area, BIN 910.
I'm Esther Dillard.
And I'm Doug Davis on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Police officers targeting and detaining black youth has gone up since the pandemic. That's what a recent study from the Annie E. Casey Foundation revealed. The report is entitled Changing Course in Youth Detention, Reversing Widening Gaps by Race and Place. In it, researchers say black youth were almost 10 times more likely to be detained than their white peers, while before the pandemic, black youth were detained at more than 6 times the rate of white youth.
Miami, Florida voters will decide who will fill 3 commission seats in this year's municipal election, but the legal fight over the city's redistricting map is now headed to the U.S. Supreme Court. Black UN law professor Donald Jones says the plaintiffs, including the ACLU, are right on their merits that the map was gerrymandered, but he argues the city was just trying to be fair.
They enacted, in effect, a notion of proportional representation. Now, what's interesting is if you look at the city of Miami, 19% of the people are black, 68% of the people are Hispanic.
Meantime, Miguel Gabella, who is running against incumbent Commissioner Alex Dia de la Portilla, is also suing the City Commission for passing a voting map that excludes his home from District 1. It's where he's been campaigning since February.
Health experts believe they've discovered that standard therapy given to black stroke patients causes problems in their recovery because of a common gene. University of Utah Health told the Standard Examiner 60% of black patients appear to carry a version of the PAR4 gene. Research shows mice carrying that gene have a higher level of disability after a stroke. Researchers hope the new information will help them develop better drugs and therapy to treat black stroke patients who share the gene.
It's only the start of August, but a lot of the nation's kids are heading back to school. NBC Washington reports that educators and kids at North Stafford County High School are welcoming new freshmen with cheers and fanfare. African-American principal Dr. Deshaun Turner.
It also provides them with the opportunity to establish relationships with teachers early on and not have to, fight with the crowd, if you will.
In Stafford County, not everyone starts this early. Only those making a significant transition, including high school freshmen, 6th graders, and kindergartners.
I'm Esther Dillard, along with Doug Davis, on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network. Now here's Morgan Wood with the Washington Roundup.
Vice President Kamala Harris is scheduled to make a fundraising stop on Martha's Vineyard on Saturday. An event invitation describes it as a grassroots reception paid for by the Biden for President Committee and the Democratic National Committee. The Martha's Vineyard Times reported the time and location of the fundraiser were not disclosed on the invitation. This comes at the same time 2 groups are suing the Biden administration over its latest plan to cancel